Here's the result for the guy you filled out the survey for. He gets a C+. plus. This guy is rather so-so. Not too good, not too bad. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you. Things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10-dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10-dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
He is not just talking big, he is really putting in the effort and will likely achieve quite a bit in his career. He's not one to sit around making promises. You'll find him getting up, taking action, and pushing ahead when others give up. He's got a lot of energy and confidence, which helps him move obstacles out of his way.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he is the kind who bounces back quickly instead of breaking down. He doesn't let failure or bad days shake him for long. He'll get right back up and try again, often with even more energy. You won't find him sulking in a corner or complaining for days.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
At work, people might respect his hard work and strong will, but he's not likely to be very popular. He speaks his mind and doesn't bother with polite words, which can rub many the wrong way. Sometimes he'll be in open disagreements or arguments because he believes his way is best.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do really well in your career, he's unlikely to feel insecure or threatened by your success. In fact, he's more likely to see your achievements as another example of winning and may even brag about you to others in a straightforward way. But don't expect warm hugs or emotional celebrations. His support won't be gentle or tender.
What if you start earning more than him?
He probably won't secretly resent you or feel insecure if you earn more than him. He's confident about what he brings to the table and is not easily shaken by someone else's success, even his partners. Instead, he may see it as a reflection of the winning team you both are.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He doesn't really worry about being orderly or careful, so he might spend money without thinking much about saving or planning ahead. He'll buy what catches his eye or what he believes will help him move forward, sometimes making quick decisions without checking the details. This can lead to sudden splurges or missed bills because he trusts his own judgment more than any budget.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He's the type who may sometimes try to live bigger than his wallet actually allows. Because he's focused on chasing success and making an impression, he might buy fancy things or take big risks, hoping they'll pay off or make him look good. He's driven by his own confidence, even if his bank balance can't always back it up.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He's more open handed in the way he spends, but he isn't exactly kind or caring when it comes to sharing or giving thoughtfully. He'll spend money freely on what grabs his attention or on things he thinks make him look good, but don't expect him to be generous out of warmth or concern for others. People around him might see him as big hearted with money, but a little sharp or distant in spirit.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He's not very secretive or controlling about money. What you see is mostly what you get. He calls things as they are and usually doesn't hide his spending or pretend about his finances. He's direct, sometimes blunt, and won't put much effort into sharing every little detail.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He's likely to believe that housework isn't really his responsibility and might quietly expect you to handle most of it. Since he's so focused on his own goals and doesn't care much for order or routine around the house, he probably won't step in to help unless you specifically ask. And even then, it may be done half heartedly or with a bit of impatience. He values his own time and achievements far more than daily chores, so don't count on him to naturally share the workload.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's the type who might say he'll help, but in reality, he'll likely just watch or give instructions rather than actually doing the work. For things like chores and diapers, he may stand nearby and tell you what to do or point out what he thinks could be done better, but he won't get his hands dirty unless you push really hard. Don't expect him to automatically take over these jobs without being told.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He's the kind of man who argues mostly to prove he's right, not to understand your side. When there's a disagreement, he tends to push his own opinion and may quickly cut you off or dismiss your feelings. He's confident in his own thinking and finds it hard to step back and really listen or show empathy.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he's more likely to say hurtful things or act a bit aggressive than to stay respectful. He doesn't hold back his feelings, and his words can come out sharp and blunt, especially when he feels challenged or annoyed. He usually won't shout or lose control completely, but his way of speaking can sting and make you feel small.
Does he have a bad temper?
He doesn't get angry very quickly. He usually keeps his cool and doesn't explode at small things. But when he does get upset, his anger shows up in sharp words and stubborn arguments rather than yelling or wild behavior. Even if his anger is not sudden, regular hurtful comments or lack of respect in fights are red flags.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He finds it very hard to say sorry or take responsibility for his mistakes. When something goes wrong, he's much more likely to blame you or make excuses rather than admit he was wrong. He believes strongly in his own way, so accepting fault doesn't come naturally to him.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
He isn't naturally tuned into other people's feelings or limits, so he might ignore or push past your boundaries if you don't clearly stand your ground. He believes strongly in his own way and tends to think what he wants matters most. So if you say no to something, he may argue, try to persuade you, or act like your refusal isn't important. You need to be very firm and direct with him about what you will and won't accept because gentle hints won't get through.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
Yes, he is likely to take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He often sees things from his own point of view and may feel rejected or annoyed when his wishes aren't met. It can be exhausting if you always have to defend your boundaries or explain your reasons.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
You should be cautious here. He doesn't have a strong sense of gentleness or kindness, so there is a real risk that he might use private moments or things you share during intimacy as weapons in an argument later. While he isn't cruel for no reason, His habit of pushing his own way and ignoring your feelings can cross lines when emotions run high.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He tends to be easily distracted by other women, especially if he sees them as exciting or as a way to boost his own ego. His focus is mostly on chasing what feels good or makes him look successful, so sometimes he may not think deeply about loyalty or the promises he's made. He isn't the type to put your feelings first if something new catches his attention.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
He's more self focused than possessive, so he's not usually the type to get very jealous or controlling about where you go or who you talk to. His confidence in himself makes him less likely to act suspicious or demand constant updates from you. However, because he mainly thinks about his own needs, he may not notice if his actions make you feel neglected or if you want more attention.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his so called protective nature isn't really about being controlling. He's too focused on his own goals and interests to keep watch over your every move. He doesn't spend much energy trying to control where you go or who you meet. However, don't mistake his lack of controlling behavior for deep care.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He will most likely expect you to do most of the parenting work rather than seeing it as a team effort. He focuses on what interests him and may leave the day to day responsibilities like feeding, homework, or comforting the kids up to you. Unless you ask directly for help, he probably won't step in on his own.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he usually stays calm and doesn't lose his temper right away. He isn't quick to explode, so you won't often see loud shouting or scary outbursts. He's more likely to brush off their emotions or push them to toughen up instead of offering hugs or understanding.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He will likely respect that you have your own goals and interests and won't stop you from working or following your dreams. However, don't expect much practical help with parenting or housework as he's focused on his own path and expects you to manage most of the home duties yourself. You may often feel like you're juggling everything on your own.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later after kids and marriage change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
Yes, this is the kind of man who might support your career as long as it doesn't affect his own comfort or routine, but could turn around and expect you to quit once a child comes along. He's focused on what suits him and may not always consider how your dreams or needs change over time. So, don't be surprised if he changes his tune after marriage or when children arrive.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He's more likely to act polite on the surface with your parents rather than show them real warmth or genuine care. He doesn't naturally go out of his way to build close relationships or express deep respect for others unless it serves his own goals. If family connection and warmth matter a lot to you, you may find his interactions with your parents a bit cold or formal. He's much more likely to expect your family to adjust to him rather than making changes himself to fit in.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he's more likely to make things worse than handle it calmly. While he doesn't blow up quickly, his way of dealing with problems is usually blunt and direct, often saying things that can hurt or offend others without meaning to soften his words. You might find yourself caught in the middle, trying to keep the peace between him and your family.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you, but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
Yes, he is quite likely to be modern with you in private, supporting your independence and allowing you to make your own choices when it's just the two of you. But when it comes to his relatives and family gatherings, he may expect you to follow traditional supportive wife roles, including behaving respectfully, wearing certain clothes, and showing extra care toward his family's customs. He isn't likely to stand up for you if his relatives expect more from you or criticize your choices. Instead, he'll expect you to adjust and keep the peace.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension between you and his family, he's more likely to stay out of it or quietly side with them rather than support you. He doesn't like to get involved in emotional matters that don't directly affect him, and he values keeping his own life smooth and undisturbed. Instead of standing up for you or helping to solve the problem, he may expect you to adjust or let the issue go.
Say you have a conflict with his mother. What will this guy do?
He isn't a classic mummy's boy, but he also won't be quick to choose your side in a conflict with his mother. His main focus is on his own needs and comfort, so he avoids getting involved unless the situation affects him directly. You may find yourself standing alone during disputes or feeling like he expects you to adjust to keep family peace.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
Yes, he may sometimes share details of your fights or private life with his mother or sister, especially if he feels challenged or wants to prove a point. He doesn't always see the value of keeping personal matters just between the two of you and may talk about your issues to seek support or justify his actions. In a strong relationship, both partners should protect each other's trust and keep private moments truly private.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
Based on all of this analysis, this guy gets a C plus. This guy is so, not too good, not too bad, a bit mediocre. Being in a relationship with him day in and day out can feel like living alongside a fast moving train. You'll see drive, energy, and confidence, but also a lot of self focus and impatience. He'll chase his goals hard and expect you to keep pace, often putting his ambitions above your needs or shared routines.